viewed right. They motion McCaffrey, backwards pass to McCaffrey, and he's going to throw downfield wide open. Brandon Ayuk, touchdown! San Francisco! He can run, he can catch,
is on fire!
Christian McCaffrey can throw. Schultz to the other, going to throw out left, intercepted. Diamador Lenore.
Wow,
Dak
what a
Prescott
play!
just threw him the ball on the outcut going left to CeeDee Lamb. Diamador Lenore comes up with the game's first big play. Here's Prescott back, has time. Throws out left, intercepted. Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner. Jimmy Ward tipped the ball, and Fred Warner with the INT. They're going to give it to McCaffrey coming left. McCaffrey, touchdown! San Francisco! He has thrown one, he has caught one, he has run one.
Hey,
Breezy, this that 9
Mo's nose, Peachy, fear the dawn. It's about that time, everybody turn your TVs on. The Mo's nose, Peachy, Breezy, and fair to God. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you 9 to talk. We two gorilla, silverback, nah, silver
You know it's
hawks.
busting the discussion cause we get it in. Every time you know we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win. The faithful going hard. It's Wayne, Breezy, Peachy, Mo's nose, and fear to God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. We outline players up in chalk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall. Line is tall. Nitty gritty, this the line is tall.
Nitty gritty gets the 9 to talk. Nitty gritty gets the 9 to talk. What's going on, everybody? The Nitty Gritty 9 to talk crew is in the building. My voice is just not back as of yet. I'm still working on it, man. Still recouping. We got Mo's, we got Peachy in the building. What's going on, family? Mo's still jamming. Peachy, what's going on? Are you on mute or? I can't hear you.
Check. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So Mose, how you doing, man? What's going on, man? How's things over there? Just chilling?
Man, I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to do this. I don't want to serious out too early, but I just been reflecting on some things the past couple of days. And I mean, I'm in a good spot. You know, some conversations that my wife and I have been having, just understanding where we are and how far we've come. And then, you know, hearing stories of other people, some success stories, some people willing to vent and just, you know, reach out to me about what's going on and the fact that I could be a helpful ear to people. The song I was jamming to before we came on is a song by Common. And the song says, "Don't forget who you are." And the hook, it says, "You're blessed with it, baby, so marvelous. No one like you, just look around. Yeah, you're too strong to turn around." So for anybody out here who needs to hear it, you are blessed. You are marvelous. You are beautiful. There is no one like you. If nobody's ever told you, Moses is telling you right now, there's nobody like you. Look around at the people that are around you and understand your worth, understand your value, understand that there is nobody like you. And what you have to offer to this world is enormous. I don't know why I just got emotional, but
Man, it's deep.
give me a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you killer.
Got you.
Mose had to take a second away from the camera for a minute, but he'll be back. Peachy, what's going on?
Okay, so what I was trying to say was that this Monday was kind of crazy. we like they start tripping like anytime we have like a short week. And this week we only have 4 days that we're working because we're off Friday and Christmas Day. So it was hectic, but I made it. For a minute there, I wasn't sure that I was going to be on time, but I was. So we're good. And I tried to stay in a good mood all day because of how awesome our 49ers are doing right now. And I watched like a lot of YouTube TV today so I could like see what the media was thinking and all these different things like this. Even laughed a little bit with some funny stuff on Twitter or whatever. You got people saying that they're trying to start a race war. It's like, man, we're just like, it's just to be funny and, you know, hilarious, whatever. And so anyway, we have all that going on. So that it's still funny though. And, but yep, just, that's what I'm doing. December's a rough month for me anyway. So I'm just trying to keep my head up and, you know, just keep things kind of going positive. So I'm literally just trying to find stuff to make me laugh or put me in a good mood because December's always a crazy month. I lost both my parents around that time frame. So therefore, that's what I've been trying to do. And to make the best out of, you know, just trying to be as joyous as I can in this moment. So we're going on. But yeah, definitely praying for everyone. Always. We're all a family. So, you know, and when we have something, the way that the Nitty Gritty family comes together is just like I've never seen anything like that in my life before. So yeah, we're all family and we love each other very much. And that's just the way that it is. And I know there's other people that, you know, also have some loss that they suffered in December as well. So my prayers go out to all of you and everything. But we all going to get through it just like we do every single year. And we're going to keep pushing. So that's what we're doing. And at least my 49ers are doing really good. So at least I have that. So I'm not depressed with my Niners. That's the only sports team that I want to talk about is that one. So 49ers and everything else go by the wayside.
Oh, so you don't want to talk about the Lakers now?
No.
They done won that
I don't want to
They
talk
done won
about
that
the
end season. I told you she wasn't going to talk about that. Y'all was giving me crap. I knew it. I know. Anyway, it's good to have you guys here. It's good to be back here on a Monday night talking 49ers talk. You know, we don't really get a chance to do the overreaction show because of endeavors that I have going on outside of stuff. And so this is kind of where we could come. We can overreact. We could talk about what we saw from everybody's vantage point. Shout out to all the Breezy Bunch members out there. We truly appreciate it. I tried to show you some love, some screen time love. I hope you guys understood. Shout out to all the subscribers to the channel. Thank you so much. We got Seahawks fans in here. You know who we don't have in here?
We don't have Cowgirl fans in here. That's who we don't have in here.
No cows in the building.
None.
The heifers have left the building. That's funny, right? Because, you know, man, I can't find one. Like I was searching today. I was like,
I haven't been able to find them at all. I looked up under like the rugs. Looked up everywhere to try to find them. But Stephen A. Smith said it best though. He said it again. That they're like cockroaches. That they scatter. You can't find them whenever it be
but when they win,
right? But they're all gathered together like this.
They're gonna get them crumbs.
Right.
I see Bishop in the building. Where they at right now is they in a secret place. They in the prayer closet. they are praying that Jalen Hurts doesn't play. Yep. And that the Seahawks find a way to get a win at home. They have been in consistent prayer.
Consistent.
Yes, they have.
Since yesterday.
Please let him continue to be sick, God. I normally don't ask for sickness. I ask for healing.
They called out a work. they did not show up. They didn't any appointments. They canceled them.
Listen,
they have been in prayer.
Yes.
I ain't heard from family members. I haven't heard from my friends. No group texts. No, nothing.
I haven't heard from any of them. I haven't heard from none of my family. Like, I haven't heard from nobody. I mean, when Stephen A. said that they scatter cockroaches
That's-
whenever,
Bro,
whenever they
it's
lose.
been so quiet. It's been so quiet. The crickets quit.
Dang.
They was like, bro, I ain't doing.
And
this
they
like
only
that.
got one job.
That's it.
And that's it.
The crickets was like, man, I quit.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
Yep.
look, Monday Night Football. You got the Seahawks. You got the Eagles. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you who to root for, but I mean, it's to each their own. Just don't I want the Eagles to lose 3 straight. That's what I want, so they can get the taste of what it's like, because they swore they were like top notch, top
Yeah.
mother freaking flight
Cream of
shelf
the
of.
crop.
Yeah,
Right.
and now they're trying to say, well, we got injuries. Really? Because when the Niners lost 3 straight and we used the injury card, which we try not to, but it's hard to miss Trent Williams. He ain't out there, right? It's hard when Deebo Samuel's not out there. And when your running back, the best running back in the league, got bruised ribs, it's hard to say they're not playing, but, they didn't want to hear that. But now, the excuses are in there. Oh, Jalen Hurts is sick. So if they lose tonight, Jalen Hurts, he's sick and the team isn't right. Man, you can miss me with that. They better go out there and take care of business, because Seattle, Geno Smith is playing, and they going to try to win this game. They compete against the Rams. I can tell you that right now. They trying to get into these playoffs for sure.
Okay,
So-
so I think that Drew Lock is starting. I think Geno is active,
He's active. Yeah.
but they haven't made a decision on whether they're going to start the game.
I just
with
said he
him
was
or
playing.
Drew Lock.
I didn't say he was starting. But hey,
Right.
at the end of the day, Drew Lock looked pretty darn good even against the Niners.
I was fixing to say they might be better off going with Drew Lock, man. Drew Lock was out there tearing it up.
For a second, I'm like, come on, don't let this be a Jarrett Stidham game.
Exactly.
But look, guys, here's the good news, right? The 49ers have clinched the NFC West again. Back to back. Okay? They're going to look for the sweep, the 6-0 at the end of the season, ladies and gents. We don't play the Rams to the last game at the end of the season, so they'll look to sweep then. But the San Francisco 49ers are out there taking care of business, standing on business. Now, for those that watch this game, I know Mose, when he sent me a text message last night, he was like, Breezy, I know you working, but we got to talk about this because this ain't it. And I'm like, yo, you can have the whole forum on Monday night, because we put up 45 points, but it was a weird, it'd be weird. It don't, let me ask you two this. Did y'all feel at any point in this game that we might not win this game?
No.
Okay. Peachy?
No, I just.
So even when we were losing, I was super confident.
Yeah. I just. Anyway, I'm sure that Mose has the same gripe about the game that I did, so I'll leave that to Mose. But I never thought that we were gonna lose it. I just thought it was just gonna be a lot harder than it had to be.
But that's weird that y'all say that, because, like, as I'm trying to keep up with everything, it still seemed like the 49ers were dominant and that they were in full control. Even though they didn't control the time of possession, they didn't have as many offensive yards, they didn't have as many offensive plays, but they still look dominant. They still look like the dominant team. So it's weird. We'll get to it. Let's start with let's get the bell going. Shout out to the victory. The 49ers, again, they have clinched. And that when Brock Purdy talked about it and the teams talked about clinching, Fred Warner had the best statement, in my opinion, when he talked about clinching the division. And he said, guys, you better cherish the moment, because you never know if it's going to happen again. And then he kind of like beat himself up about that and was like, he didn't like that he said that, because he said that he wants to make this clinching the division a standard. Like, this is what you do. If you want to get through the West, you got to beat the best.
That's right.
And the best are the San Francisco 49ers. How you guys feel about that statement, Peachy?
I feel that he's absolutely right. And I'm glad to actually hear it, because it is the standard to, like, the 49ers should expect every single year to win the division. And that should just be how it is every single year. And the mentality that this team has now is just amazing. Because what's his name said, and I don't know whether you're going to bring this up, but whoever was talking about that they're tired of these shirts.
Oh, Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah, that they don't, that he's tired of these shirts. He's ready for another shirt. He's ready for that Super Bowl winner shirt. And that, to me, is definitely what we're striving for this season. It's just glad that a lot of the players are mentally there, because I know in the past that, you know, some of the players are, you know, like, yeah, you know, it's Super Bowl or bust for us and all this stuff, whatever, just a bunch of talking. But you can feel it. Like, you can literally feel it, and the players can too. And whereas, you know, Kyle would be like, oh, you know, calm down. We're not going to, you know, we know what this is. We know that we're the best in the NFC. And we know that at the end of the day, that's what's expected out of, like, all the other teams are looking at us. Like, yeah, you guys are expected to go to the Super Bowl. And that's just all there is to it. But it starts with winning the West, of course. And they're right. Like, that should just be the standard, like, every single year. You should just do that. So that's just one of the small steps. But they also said, you know, that that's not what they're satisfied at. That's cool and all. And, you know, like, we should be used to that. Remember how people used to say that about the Patriots, how they used to say, you know, the Patriots just win the AFC East like every year because it's just what they do. That's what is now becoming a staple of the 49ers, is that you just win the NFC West every year. That's just what you do. And that's how I look at it as. And I think Breezy on, I don't know if it was on the Wayne Breezy show or whatever, because, you know, he shows today or Bleacher, wherever it was, where you were talking about that this kind of like reminds you kind of the Patriots when they did that, because but that's the mentality. It's like everyone on the Patriots like believed that that's what was going to happen, and that's just what happened. And I believe that with the 49ers, I just believe that it's just there, that they all like mentally believe that, and they're all striving to do that. And you can tell by the way that they've been dominating teams and everything. The old Kyle Shanahan led team would have, you know, been playing conservative. You know, they would have been doing all this stuff. They would have been trying to back off this and do this and this. And there's just none of that anymore. We try to go out there and make a statement in every single game. It doesn't matter who we play. We're out there trying to make a statement. And you can just tell. And that's how you get your dominance to where other teams fear you. Because nobody wants to play the 49ers right now. They just don't. They're probably looking at that thing like, oh, man, nobody wants to do that, especially not at home. They definitely don't want to do it like at Levi's. They just don't. So anyway, yeah, I'm just feeling really good about this and everything. But yes, definitely the NFC West is definitely becoming the standard, and it's going to stay the standard. And the 49ers are going to strive every year in the first thing to do that, to conquer the West. So.
Mose, Peachy talked about the 49ers mentality. I want to talk about the 49ers physicality because there are a bunch of injuries that are starting to pile up, and you can have the mentality, but if you don't have the right able bodies there, it could hinder the play of the team. So, Mose, we're going to go through this injury report, you and I, my brother, and we're going to go through some of these injuries that happened in the game and that have already been sustainable for the 49ers up until this game. So let's start with Kalia Davis, who left the game with a high ankle sprain. They don't have a current timetable on this, Mose, but this is one of the the depth pieces that started to see a little bit more reps, once the injuries happened to the starting defensive tackle. So let's talk about Khalil Davis. If he's out, this is another plug that or another piece in the cog that we're gonna be probably missing for 2 to 4 weeks, in my opinion, on the high ankle sprain.
Yeah, I think at that point, I think you mentioned last show that maybe we need to reach out to some of these veterans out there, but mainly Ndamukong Suh. And I think at this point you have to go that route. And I know we'll get into the game later, but from what I saw from this backup interior, give me one of these veterans who got that grown man strength, who got the experience.
That's all it was, Mose.
Because
it was those two things, bro.
I saw Khalil Davis on the ground way too many times for my liking yesterday. It was bad. So, don't want to kick him while he's down. I know he's got the high ankle sprain.
But I was telling Mike, a professional football player, and I was telling Mike on No Harm, No Foul today that he can't be on the ground because he took out his other man. And then miss tackle.
Yeah.
We'll get to the defense, I promise, but I get it. So do you think it was playing against the Cardinals might have been a bit much for him? Because he's not just rotational. They still rotated the tackles, so don't get it twisted, but
yeah, I mean, the way that offensive line is built, I think they want more power blocking than finesse blocking. They want guys who are maulers. That's why you have a Will Hernandez. You go get him from the Giants. The backup center, that Froholt dude, I just know he's strong. He may not be very technically sound, but he definitely was strong. And he was moving some of those guys out of the way. So I think, one, that's part of the experience that Khalil Davis needs. I think he'll take that back and work on his technique. He definitely knows he's got to stay in the gym. He's got to build that core functional strength, to be able to do some of the things that he does without getting overpowered. So at least at minimum, you could chalk it up as a learning experience for him.
For sure. And like you said, we're not going to beat up on him while he's down. He's got the high ankle sprain, so he's going to be out. I would probably say about 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how severe it is. Diamador Lenore left with a rib contusion, so he had a rib injury a little later on toward the end of the game. Not sure if if that's going to be something that might hinder the defensive backfield. But Eric Armstead, Oren Burks, Ross Dwelly, Elijah Mitchell, and Javon Hargrave are going to be monitored day to day and closely. So hopefully those guys, I'm expecting those guys to be ready and good to go, as well as hopefully Diamador Lenore. I did not know that Juwan Jennings suffered sustained some type of a concussion as well. I'm seeing that out there as well. I didn't get that, but look, like players they're getting. It's a long season, and it's wear and tear, and we are a physical team, and at some point that physical style of play, it kind of comes back, and now you're losing one of your great possession receivers if he isn't able to clear the concussion protocol or whatever or whatnot. So, Mose, how can these injuries plague the 49ers, in a big game coming up against the Baltimore Ravens?
I think continuity, right? When you have all of your guys healthy and everybody knows what their role is, everyone knows what the rotation is, there may be a drop-off talent-wise, but that's all accounted for with coaching, with scheme, with play calling. You know who's out there, you know why they're out there, and what they are good at. But injuries force players who don't play as often as the starters to play more playing time. And then you really get to see where they are from a mindset standpoint, where they are from a knowledge of the scheme and, what we're trying to do this week. And sometimes there is a drop off there, whether it's guys not paying attention, whether it's guys not believing that, they're going to get their opportunity in the game. So, they don't, study as much or prepare as well as they should. I mean, they're all in the NFL, but I'm sure there are some guys who understand that they don't get as much playing time as others. And, they may, be a little lackadaisical. So, um, you know, that does hurt you, when you have to have those guys playing more snaps. So it's kind of a bad time, for us to kind of go through some of these injuries. But every team is going through that. So now, how do we find a way to stay on top of our game to just make sure that we are better than the opponent that's across from us?
I agree. And I got to ask you one more an injury pertain question. The trenches are coming back. So you got Spencer Burford, who's set to return to practice this week. Now, you look at John Feliciano, and he's had back-to-back solid weeks, back-to-back number one grade per PFF, and I'm talking in the 90s. That's an A grade. And so what would you do? If Burford has good practice, does he come back? Does he start? Does Feliciano kick back out? Do you rotate them in there? Do you leave Feliciano as your starter? What do you think Kyle Shanahan would do? And what would you do?
If it was me, and I think Kyle Shanahan will do this as well, I think you have to stay with the hot hand. Yeah, I mean, in his time playing, in the snaps that he's gotten versus Burford, he's looked better. Now you can say, Burford hasn't been 100%, whatever reason, sophomore slump going into his second year. That's fine. Whatever the reason is. But as of right now, this veteran is playing better than the youngster. So when you talk about keeping Purdy upright, when you talk about opening rushing lanes for Christian McCaffrey, give me the guy who has been consistently performing at a high level versus the young guy with the upside. I mean, at least for the offensive line, it seems like he has continuity with the two guys who are next to him, which would be Colton McKivitz and Jake Brindle. So if they have a continuity built and they're able to be successful, I wouldn't interrupt that.
And I agree with that. It's like you talked about continuity. It seems like the offensive line, I mean, I believe 2 sacks on yesterday that they gave up. They only really accounted for one of them, and that was on Aaron Banks per PFF. And no penalties for the first time all season. The offensive line has 0 penalties. That's something that we should definitely hang our head high on, because we talked about being disciplined in the sense of not getting false starts, because that would lead you down to the long down the distances. And next thing you know, your 1st and 10 play goes to 1st and 20 or 1st and 15. And it's just not a single play for 1st and 15. It's got to be if it was against the 49ers, you can get a 1st and 15. But when you're the 49ers, because we missed tackles, I don't know if y'all picked up on that. But if you are the 49ers, it's tough to get them, and so it's tough. But it was good to see that the offense didn't false starts and none of that stuff. Nothing yesterday. Pretty much a clean slate for the offense. When I tell you the offense was clicking, the offense was clicking. All right, that's your injury report, ladies and gentlemen. As of right now, I'm sure it'll change throughout the week. We'll keep you updated on what's going on via practice when the practice schedule is set to release. We got some super chat contributions we want to get to real quickly. All right, let's go with Jax Knox. She says, my favorite time of the year is Christmas, and my 49ers are doing well. Give love is the best line ever. Now we going 14-3. I hope we continue to take every game serious, and y'all can catch me tomorrow on the call. Oh shit, shoot. I forgot I was doing a call-in show. Yep. All right. So you guys can catch Jax tomorrow on the call-in show. She'll interact with the chat while she's on the phone. That's something she has to learn how to not do. We can't hear Peachy. So if you're talking to me, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Call-in show is Wednesday.
Right. So Wednesday. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Ain't gonna be no call. I'll be on the John Wayne show tomorrow.
Right.
John and Wayne
and
show.
Wayne is tomorrow. Yeah.
All right. All right. So Jax, thank you for the contribution. Raphael 562 gifted a membership. Shout out to my man Raphael 562. We appreciate you. And that went to none other than Gamer for Life _07. So congratulations on becoming a member, man. I hope you guys enjoy the perks. All right, we got a super chat contribution from Mark. Hot, like the Brock is hot. This is Purdy stats to watch for 205 passing yards to 4,000 and 484 to Niners single season passing record. Guys, the Niners single season passing record is held by none other than Jeff Garcia. Okay, he has 4,200 and let's see if I remember by heart, 78 yards. All right, Brock needs 484 yards to break that record. That's 161 yards over the next 3 games. Sounds like Brock is going to be a 4,300 yard quarterback, 44, 45. I mean, like let's talk about this, right? Thank you, Mark, for this contribution, because a lot of people like to throw or like to kind of label Brock as a couple of things, right? And I talked about this on Bleacher Report earlier. Like, he's a system quarterback, okay, or he's a game manager. How about we throw the title around? How about he's the franchise guy? How about that's the title you give him? Because he can game manage and run a system and still give you spectacular plays. Isn't that what equals a franchise?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's time for us and the faithful. It's time for us to start changing the narrative. So anytime you hear somebody call your quarterback a system quarterback or a game manager type of quarterback, says, you know what, he is both of those, and that equals a franchise quarterback. That's all you got to say. You shut him up real quick. And if you look at Brock and you look at what he's doing over his young career here, you can see he's putting up franchise numbers. He's about to beat out. He's about to be he's about to have the best single season passing record over Joe Montana and Steve Young, and they were probably the only franchise quarterbacks for the San Francisco 49ers. I don't know if you guys include Jeff Garcia's franchise or Alex Smith's. No. It's Steve Young, Joe Montana, and that's it. It's about to be Brock Purdy. So, Mark, thank you for that contribution. He's about to break that record. It's about to be crazy. Big Daddy Niners in here 2 times. Ain't no party like a Niner party. So get up. Yes, sir. Get up, get up, get up. And let's get started. I love it. I love it. I love the energy. Every time I hit a certain high note, the cough comes. So I'm trying to keep it down. Sean with the Super Chat contribution says, Breezy, Rob Bass played at Seahawks. What you know about that? Rob Bass played at Seahawks. DJ Rob Bass? I mean, Rob Bass and DJ, whatever his name was. Really? Didn't know that. We got to look that up. Got to look that up for sure. But guys, thank y'all for the Super Chat contributions. We do appreciate that. And listen, keep them coming. We love it. Now, there was a report that went out today. I do want to talk about this, that Kyle Shanahan spoke and said that the 49ers do not plan to add Ndamukong Suh. The plan is that they were interested in him last season. That was the word, but the Eagles ended up scooping him up, right? Now, the plan is that Kyle Shanahan feels that Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave are going to be ready to go really soon. So this is why they might not, seek out to get that veteran. But I'm with Mose. If you know that your vets are going to be out a tad bit longer than what you expected, you got to go get a veteran in there that just understands football. Because that, Mose, is what I saw against our defense. That center you talked about, he took out 2 linemen at the same time. I have no idea how he did it. I just know that they got low, they were on the ground, and I'm just like, what? That can't happen in football. And so, it's going to take some time for those guys, to get acclimated. They just need reps. I'm not banking on them. They just need some reps, Need some reps. Let's get to this game. Let's recap this game. We got to do strengths. We got to do some weaknesses. Peachy, you can handle the strengths offensively and defensively, and then Mose, you can handle the weaknesses offensively and defensively. All right, and I'll just sit back, relax, kick off my shoes, and have some fun. All right, let's do it.
Probably like it on offense. That
Yep, you doing strengths.
The strengths are I don't know. I mean, because he did a little of both yesterday, but Christian McCaffrey,
he's the man.
Who just is I don't even have any words for him anymore. This dude is just amazing. How he changes a game so fast. How if you are, like down in the dumps a little bit, and you're like whatever, and then all of a sudden he just lights this spark and he just comes out of nowhere and just shines, whether he's running, whether he's catching, like whatever. But that the one yesterday where there was like no white in sight, it was just red, it was just him, and he went down and then he got up and right in the touchdown. There's just so many amazing moments that CMC provides for this team. Is definitely a strength. Oh yeah, and I can't forget about the small spark that Jordan Mason brought as well. So the running backs were just on it yesterday. When Mason's name was called, he answered it. He did very, very well. He broke through some tackles and made some really good plays yesterday. So both of them together, but definitely just McCaffrey. Like he can run it, he can catch it. I'm sure that pretty soon we'll be using him to throw it, other stuff or whatever. But it's awesome. So that to me is my offensive strength. So on the defensive side, I'd have to go with secondary. I mean, Mooney Ward was on one yesterday. It was amazing. And a pick six and then an INT. And then he almost had another one. So it was just amazing to watch how the secondary came together. Lenore had, before he got hurt, he had some really good PBUs. So there was just some really good things happening with the secondary yesterday. So those are my two strengths that I have.
Love them. Let's talk about Christian McCaffrey. 7 explosive plays. 7 explosive plays. That plus 41-yard touchdown where he backpedaled, caught the ball, fell down, got up, ran it in for a touchdown. 7 explosive plays. Like this dude was running, like at one point I thought he was averaging over 10 yards per carry, because his first explosive play was plus 13 on the ground. Second one plus 26. Like this is what he was doing, like just on the ground, like he was gashing them up. And then you talked about the secondary. It's Mooney Ward set the tone, right? Like he read what was going down, read the quarterback's eyes, jumped the route, picked it, took it all the way to the house, got 7 points for the defense. I think the secondary is pretty much a lock. I do feel like there's weaknesses in the secondary, depending on, to me, let me not say secondary, but let me just say pass coverage. Like when it comes to assignments, because it might not always be the secondary who's responsible for a tight end or who's responsible for a certain player. So I would say the pass coverage is still shaky, but I think that those strengths are pretty much spot on. If I had to add any type of strength, it's just Brock Purdy's poise. Like he's just super poised. 4 touchdowns, 260 plus yards, like no interceptions, 130 plus passer rating. Like the kid is just poised. He's undefeated against Arizona. He went back home and did his thing. Like I'm just watching literally like a star being born and Santa Clara, like you're watching a quarterback. And for those that got a chance to watch like Joe Montana turn into that, like for those that are new to the 49ers that didn't get to watch Joe Montana drafted and kind of grow into the system, This is where Brock Purdy is coming in for those guys. And so even with Steve Young, it was a trade and he was just waiting for his turn and blah, 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 blah. And even it took him a minute to figure out the system. But you're watching Brock Purdy like really understand the concepts. And Kyle Shanahan, when the coach came out and said, they asked Kyle Shanahan, they said, hey, what's one of the traits about Brock Purdy that you like? And it's just like, he was like, yo, it's just his ability to scan and see the whole field. And like, when have we ever heard that? Like, I just feel like we've heard it from other quarterbacks from other teams, but when have we ever heard our coach? When have we ever heard our coach talk about the players and how good they are?
Right.
That's scaring me.
Yeah. Which is what I was talking about whenever I was talking about, how Kyle used to try to downplay, like when you talked about like, winning the division, winning a playoff game, winning the Super Bowl. He used to downplay that all the time. It's like, oh, we have to get over, this right here. We have to do this and whatever. We don't want them to get, other stuff. That he just don't give a frick anymore. Like he's just like, yeah, because he sees these guys every day and he knows their potential. He knows that he's got the right quarterback now to get this done. And the faith that he has in Brock, that he's going to be able to figure out something. We haven't seen that under Kyle Shanahan like at all. Like you've never ever seen that confidence that he has. Like it just oozes confidence. How much confidence that he has in Brock to make something happen out of nothing. It might look crazy and whatever, but he find a way to get it done. So definitely, that's definitely a huge strength.
And that's one of the things that makes him the franchise guy.
Yes.
If he's able to go off script, right? He's able to make impossible throws. Like throws he shouldn't even make, he's still doing because Brock, trusts his guys to make the play. And so like you're just watching a quarterback evolve. I mean, when you're what he's 16-3 as a starting quarterback during the regular season. Like, can you imagine if Debo, Trent Williams, I'll take a banged up Christian McCaffrey. Can you just imagine if Debo and Trent weren't injured and they won in Cleveland, won in Minnesota, and won at home? Brock would still be undefeated in the regular season as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
That's true. That's
crazy. And through that adversity, a lot of people looked at, they got 3 losses. No, it was adversity. He needed to go through that. For example, yes, on Saturday, this is a totally different term, but this is what I needed to go through because I didn't know what I was going to do. On Saturday, I had a holiday gala to attend. I get to my engagements early because I like to set up early so I can kind of rest for a little bit and whatever. As I was putting my keyboards on my cart, I had to go over some like paver stones, right? So as I went over the paver stones, one of the keyboards on the cart fell off. When I picked up the keyboard and brought it inside, I thought everything was fine because it was in a case. I'm like, it's cool, it should be good. It's in a case. I, got the thing, hooked everything up, played at the top on the keys, got to the middle, got to the bottom, and the keys were stuck and broke. I had to do a whole gala with a whole lower registry from the middle C down, and I couldn't play certain songs. They just didn't sound right, so I had to figure it out, which I did. I'm saying that to say I had to go today to take it to the shop. When I got to the shop, the dude didn't recognize me in the shop. Cool, no problem. So I dropped off the keyboard and I asked him, hey, you got the other keyboard I had you fixed like back in July? He was like, well, if it was done, I would have called you, left you, whatever, because that's his system. That's how he thinks. And so as I was walking out the store, I'm like, yo, these are my speakers. He was like, oh, that's yours? I'm like, yeah. He was like, let me check in the computer. He looked up my name, Wayne Brown, but it was another Wayne Brown with a different number that he was contacting since July. I'm saying that to say, had I not gone through the fire of my keyboard being broke, even though I know I got to pay for it and it was a tough time, I would have never got the stuff that I already had waiting for me on the other side. When I look at Brock Purdy, he is that guy. He just has these gifts, he has these abilities, and he had to go through some fire, go through some adversity. And now look how he's being polished and he's being put out there. Now he's the front runner for the MVP. Now he's the front runner for the best quarterback in the NFL. They don't even want to talk about him, right, Peachy? They want to put other players, no
Right.
disrespect to Christian McCaffrey,
Yep.
but they want to put other
Yep.
players. Oh, Brock can't be MVP because he was a 7th round draft pick. Keep doubting this kid.
Yep.
Please doubt him at least until next season, because that's what we need to win this Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now it's, he's not even the best player on the team. If you're going to give it to somebody, then you should give it to Christian McCaffrey. It's like they don't want to agree as to what we have now. Whatever level of whatever, that doesn't matter. But the outside media is what I'm saying. They still want to try to find some kind of way to not give it to Brock because they guys look like garbage. So now they want to say, I think that it's time for us to bring back the other players for MVP. And if you're going to give it to somebody on the 49ers, you should give it to Christian McCaffrey. And so it's like anything that they can do to try to besmirch his name, no matter how awesome that he's looking out there, do it, because it fuels him. And it makes him ball out, and he can get up there and he can say in the presser, "Oh, this doesn't bother me. This, whatever." But we know good and well, you can tell by his actions as the way that he approaches each game. At the end of each game, when he's dominated, and you can just watch the fire. So keep doing that. Keep talking all that mess that you want to. Keep on with the fire until he's holding that Super Bowl MVP, because that's the one that he's striving for, is to get that Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, and it's funny you bringing that up because, I think if we do get to the Super Bowl, I think that's where Christian McCaffrey would exceed and probably get that. Because you look at this team offensively, and Mose, you get to take over after this. You look at this team offensively, and I thought that even though they had mistakes, even though they had some mess ups, I thought that they were a unit on yesterday. I thought they were legit a solid unit on yesterday, because even in the mistakes, even in the missed throws and the missed catches and things like that, they didn't make any mistakes. Wait a minute. Now, you telling me the offense is going to be able to go out there and play a mistake-free game?
Yep.
Now that they've done it, they're like, oh, yo, we could do it again. And we could do it again. And we could do it again.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. That sometimes you just got to see it to believe it. And it's okay. Everybody doesn't have the same measurement of faith. It's all right. Just have faith. That's it. However strong your faith is, cool. There's people with stronger faiths and they can kind of have some overflow for you. But just believe. Let's switch the gears to the defense in this game. 49ers came into this game with the number 1 overall defense as far as points scored, number 1 to number 2 rushing defense. They've shifted down a little bit. I don't know if you have the stuff right in front of you, but I could give you what the defense actually allowed in this game: 436 total yards, which is not good because 234 of those yards, Mose, was on the ground. And so, Mose, from a defensive standpoint, because that's your mind, like, what was wrong with the 49ers? Because even though they looked bad, they still look good. Like, what in the what? My bad. Go ahead.
Y'all gonna start putting respect on my sister Peachy name, because she been telling y'all this for weeks.
They can't tackle. 16.
Why did I see Nick Bosa and Fred Warner miss tackles on James Conner when he scored his touchdown? Like, these are your two highest paid players on defense. These are two team captains. And I think I was going to say it earlier, but I didn't want to jump the gun when you were talking about Demo and his rib contusion. I think he got injured partially because he was the only one tackling yesterday. And you could see throughout the game, it felt like he may have been overcompensating to ensure he wasn't missing tackles. So now you have your corner, who's obviously smaller than your linebackers and your defensive linemen, being the best tackler on the field, so much so he got injured doing it. Too many arm tackles.
Mm-hmm.
I do not care that Fred Warner had 9 tackles, 8 solo, and he had a half a sack. He probably had just as many missed tackles. Arm tackles. Dre Greenlaw, arm tackles. Some of the defensive linemen, arm tackles. Like, this cannot happen. When we look at the teams that we have to play and we're going to have to see, we face Baltimore next week. Y'all better find a way to wrap up Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Cause he out.
I don't know what you got to do. Find a way to wrap him up and bring him down. If we see Philly again, they're gonna be playing with a little bit more venom in their blood because of what happened. We know AJ can break tackles. We seen, as small as Devontae Smith is, he can break tackles. Jalen, we got to be able to bring him down. Dallas, Dak can get a little frisky when he want to. CeeDee Lamb is a yak beast as well. Like, the teams that we play and we're gonna have to see. And then imagine if we get to the Super Bowl. What if we got to play the Bills? What if the Bills find a way to get healthy? They make it all the way through. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen, 6'5", 240. We got to find a way to tackle.
And now we got to deal with James Cook if he play Buffalo. So
Because he's heating up.
Yes.
So, like, that is the biggest gripe. Because we talked about the secondary. Secondary played great. Mooney Ward, 2 picks. You know, the gag with him was, yes, he's leading the league in PBUs, but the media was asking him, how come they haven't been converted to interceptions? And he said, just wait. Soon as I start catching them things, then y'all gonna know. And just this week, he gets 2 of them. Right place, right time, making sure he's looking the ball in. He gets 2 interceptions. So secondary is going to be fine. We've seen that maturation process. We've seen what Steve Wilks has been able to do from the beginning of the season till now. But if we can't tackle, we allow teams to stay in the game. I almost cussed Breezy out because this game kind of went like the simulation. It's too much scoring. And because we can't tackle, we made the real life game look like the simulated game.
It was close.
Where Arizona just kept scoring. Now, thankfully, we kept scoring like the simulation.
Yeah.
But there's no way they should have put up almost 30 points on us. But that's because we can't tackle. And you could say, yeah, well, you know, our Hargrave wasn't there and Armstead wasn't there. But those 2 guys shouldn't be the reason why you're making or missing tackles. And Peachy been talking about this problem of missed tackles when those 2 guys were healthy. So now that they're out, that problem becomes exacerbated. That's a major problem. Major problem. And something that we have to fix now. Got to fix it now. Because as we get further along and the more games you play, the more wear and tear on the body, the deeper we go into the postseason, that means the more hits that we're going to take, the more recovery we're going to need. We have to get this fixed or else we're going to have another team putting up 230 yards on the ground, and that is not like us at all.
All right, so I'm gonna add some context, just a little bit. It's not an excuse, but just some context to the San Francisco 49ers, because like this isn't new. So let's not act like this is brand new. We've been struggling with tackling all season long. There might be 3 to 4 games, and I'm gonna go through all of them. You know what? Let me just go through all of them. Here we go. Week 1, missed tackles 7. Okay, that was against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Week 2 against the Rams, missed tackles 8 because Puka Nacua was breaking them all. And Kyron Williams. Week 3 against the Giants, they had 3. They only had 3 missed tackles in that game. All right, they was rapping and tackling in that game. Week 4 against the Cardinals, only 4, but no Kyler Murray in that game. All right, so and guess who led in missed tackles in that game? Can anybody guess?
Fred
Warner, 3. All right. Week 5 against the Dallas Cowboys, 2. All right. I have a theory.
Dallas didn't have the ball on offense. So.
Listen, we wasn't giving them the ball. Week 6 against Cleveland, you had 10 missed tackles, and here's where the numbers are going to start going up. I ain't finished. All right. Week 7 against Minnesota, 9 missed tackles. Week 8 against Cincinnati, 13 missed tackles. Week 9, once the internet decides it wants to clear up because what you call it want to act silly, and it's going to continue to act silly, so we'll have to wait for it to refresh unless my internet went out. I hope it didn't. But anyway, like the number continued to go up. This week right here against the Arizona Cardinals, we had 16 missed tackles. 16 missed tackles, ladies and gents. That is ridiculous. 16 missed tackles. All right, where was I at? Week 8. Let's go back to week 9 against... Oh, week 9 doesn't want to pull up. That's what it is. All the other weeks was fine. All right, so bump week 9. Let's go to week 10 and see if that pulls up. Yes, it does. Against
week 9, wasn't that our bye week?
That was our bye week. That's probably why it's not pulling up. We had 7 against Jacksonville. Week 11 against Tampa Bay, we only have 4. All right, there's different backs. Week 12, only 5 against Seattle. Seattle, they've been consistent and not missing tackles. Seattle, they were giving up explosive plays in the air. Week 13 against Philly, here we go, 12. Week 14, all right, here we go, 14 against Seattle in this game. Okay. Week 15, 16 missed tackles. As you can see,
we going up by increments of 2 in the last 3 weeks.
You're going up.
We went
man.
from 12, 14 to 16.
Yeah. So here's some of the little context. Listen, Arizona, when they ran this ball, they ran with every person that can run the ball, ran the ball in this game. Like they had wide receivers, running backs that they picked up off the street. They had rookies. They had James Conner, Kyler Murray. It was throwing the Niners off so much they could not wrap and tackle. Now, I will say this. You get your hands on them, you got to get them down. The arm tackle isn't it. And Fred Warner was so quick in the backfield. Like he was just his timing, he was missing. And then I watch guys like get negated from each other. Like we get to the tackle and your own man block you off the tackle and then boom, they pop out. The worst missed tackle was that 31-yard run up the middle for a touchdown.
Yes.
That was the worst one for me. Yes. That was Fred missing. Just straight up. He was there. He said, man, usually I don't do this, but go ahead and keep the party going. Like that was the worst one. But, you know, overall, Fred had a good game. It's just the whole team, 16 missed tackles, 3 from Fred, 3 from T.Y. McGill. They led the team in missed tackles. I just don't understand why fundamentally they're breaking down. And that to me, y'all, that's the issue. And even Fred spoke about it. You know, because they asked him about, you know, scoring on defense. Do they see this being a trend upwards? He's like, yo, none of that even matters. Like,
Right.
we got to be fundamentally sound.
Yep.
And he said it starts with me. So he's owning it, but everybody got to own it. Because like you said, we're going to play the Ravens. Now, luckily, we won't have to deal with speed from a running back perspective. You're going to get Gus Edwards and I can't keep forgetting Justice Hill. All right? Because Keaton Mitchell is out for the year. Okay? But you will.
He was cooking too.
He was cooking. You remember that kid I said I wanted us to draft because he had 4.3 speed? That's him. ECU. That's him.
Called it.
And all I'm saying is that's Raheem Mostert speed. And I thought that was the one element Kyle Shanahan lacked. Can you imagine if Kyle Shanahan get a speed back to add to this repertoire? Jesus, shit, my goodness. Anyway, that's just a little context. It doesn't take away from what you're saying. It's just I wonder if they ran with everybody, like everybody. You get to run, Peachy. You could run a rock. I'm gonna get this person over here to run the rock. Coach, you can get it. It's like they were just throwing the timing and the balance off from the San Francisco 49ers. I don't expect another team with a running back. Not running back, but a running core like that. They ran with 2-3 receivers. Usually it's just one, and you can kind of figure it out. So, look, Niners got to fix that because, like you said, we got the Ravens up, and the Niners better not lose this game on Christmas because it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem.
I think one of the things that's a little bit weird too is just how it looked. Now, we gave up 19 against the Eagles. It was really 13. One of those was in garbage time where we had nothing but backups in. But, like, we missed 12 tackles, you said, in that Eagles game, and it didn't seem to hurt us as much as it hurt us this game. And then you said we had 14 against the Seahawks, and we relatively had that game under control. We had this game under control, too. But for them to continuously be able to score to the clip of almost putting up 30 points, it just looked a little different this week. And to add to what you're saying, I don't know if that's it's the Cardinals. You know, we got this game under control. We're gonna beat them. We're not really worried about this. I don't know if it's that or if there's a deeper rooted issue that needs to be worked out. All I know is we cannot continue to go forward having double-digit games of missed tackles. It's like we wanted this team to stop getting penalties.
Right.
Stop getting penalties on defense, giving the team first downs, extending drives. Stop getting penalties on offense, putting us in, negative down and distance. And we're starting to do that. We only had one penalty for 5 yards against the Cardinals. But we also had 16 mixed tackles. So it's like it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in another. Yeah. There's always this trade-off. Mm-hmm. But I think if we can find a way to play offense like we're playing, play the defense we know how to play, limit the missed tackles, and limit the penalties, then that's when you're going to start to see a team that's really, really scary to beat. And I think teams around the league know that, which is why there is this stigma around the 49ers now that this is probably the toughest team in the league that we're going to have to play. Because once we get into the tournament and they really start to hone in on what they're doing and focus up, because it's win or go home, how are we going to beat a team that forces turnovers, doesn't turn the ball over, runs the ball well and can control the clock, can now push the ball downfield because they're not limited at the quarterback position, and has a defense that can get after your quarterback? And they're not making mistakes. How do we stop that team?
Right.
So again, for everybody listening, this is not us always wanting to find something negative to talk about, but just knowing that this team has another level that it can get to where we'll be really, really scary.
And even go ahead, Peachy.
The 49er players don't even feel like that they're playing their best football right now. That should be scary for the whole league because they're like, we can be so much better. We can, be better here. We can be better there. We haven't even reached our potential yet. Like we're getting there, but we have so long to go. It's almost the end of the season and we're about to hit the playoffs. Do you realize how scary that is? If they're talking about there's still another level that we can get to that we have not even got there yet. And that's offense and defense. That's both of them say that, there's so much more. Or Kyle, we just leave so much out there, on the field that we're not. That's, to me, is just nuts. If I was the team, I'd be like, wow, that's crazy because
it is like they're still finding ways to ascend, and they're still figuring out how to execute, properly, like at all costs, especially on the offense. You heard Trip Williams talk about it. They still haven't even reached their full potential. They haven't even reached it, but they have enough weapons on there, like to where anyone can break through. Anyone can have a breakthrough. I think the key right now for the San Francisco 49ers is to not play scarce, but continue to play hard, continue to play your style of football, take away the game early, get the players the rest that they need. Because, we literally rest our starters in that fourth quarter.
Yes.
And so now you're saying to yourself, dang, man, because I wanted Brock Purdy to break the record. I want Christian McCaffrey to get 2 more touchdowns, break Jerry Rice's record. They literally could have put up 75 points,
it would have
in
looked
my
like
opinion.
That Madden. That's what it
Right.
would look like.
Right. I felt like
look like Madden.
but they knew they had the game in the bag. Now that does not go against them missing tackles, Mose. I'm sorry. You can know you got a game in the bag all you want. You cannot miss tackles. That's fundamental 101. Get your head down to the side and make the tackle. It's fundamental. And I don't want the Niners to, lose the fundamental sound portions of their team because they have to be they have to cross every T and dot every I. Just because they're just because they're the number 1 seed don't mean it's a lock.
Right. That's true.
And if they want that number 1 seed, then they got to go out there and show that they're going to take the number 1 seed because nobody, and I mean nobody's going to give it to them.
To you.
These teams are coming out like they are number 1 seeds. It's the worst team in the league. We just played the worst team in the league other than the Carolina Panthers record-wise, and they came out like they was not the worst team. They didn't care about no draft pick. They didn't care about nothing. They wanted to beat the best.
Yeah, we're literally for the rest of the year, we're going to get these teams the best shot. Everybody's talking about, if we can get past Baltimore, then we're good. And the Commanders, despite what they have going on, you're still going to get their best shot. But
every time.
The good news is that what I like about this certain squad that we have compared to other ones in the past is we don't play down the competition. That's one thing that we don't do. We know, so that we haven't got stuck in any trap games as of yet, one that we, we're supposed to win and then just didn't, what I'm saying? This Cardinals game could have easily been a trap game. The mentality, I've seen some squads that we've had where, the mentality is kind of whatever. So they don't look over anybody because they know that every team is going to bring their best shot. Breezy, I have one small favor that I would like to ask of you because we haven't addressed it yet. There's a massive weakness that a lot of people feel like on our special teams that we have to deal with. What is your opinion about what happened on special teams yesterday?
About Ronnie Bell?
Yes.
I mean, he didn't fumble. I don't know. If he would have fumbled, then we could have an opinion, but he didn't. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it. His arm was ruled down, and it is what it is. The dude has 1 fumble on the season, and it's not like he's back there doing it all the time. He's filling in for Ray McCloud, who's supposed to be back there, who's not there. So now you got this kid out here returning punts. He's going to have to get the reps somehow, unless you put Juice back there who can just short fair catch a ball. But at the end of the day, you have Ronnie Bell out there who can make a play. So he tries to make a play. He gets spun around. He goes to the ground. The ball comes out, but his forearm was down. I mean, that's what they ruled. So it didn't hurt us. It could have, but it didn't. So, I mean, I don't really know how to rule. I need to see him play more football. Like, I need to see him return it. He wasn't a problem in preseason. Nobody was crying in the preseason. Everybody was on his nuts in the preseason, and then he makes this mistake, which it really wasn't even a mistake, and now you want to throw him under the bus. I really don't understand it. I don't get it. Just like y'all threw the kicker under the bus, and then all of a sudden he one of the best kickers in the league. Like I don't get us as a fan base. Now, if he made the mistake, that's fair, fine. But the ref said he was down. His forearm was down. It is what it is. So that's just me.
But what are your thoughts about? Because some people will say the narrative is he tries to do too much.
All football players are trying to do too much. So football players are trying to make a play. You play safe, you get injured. So he's out there trying to make a play. That's what I saw. I gotta watch it again, but that's what I saw. That was one of the things I saw, and I was like, dang, he fumbled. Because it looked like a fumble. So I get why people were upset. But that's what punt returners are trying to do. They get one opportunity. And this ain't no Richie James, fair catch the ball, blah, blah, blah. Nah, this kid has return ability. And one day he'll break one. But he's only going to learn how to break one the more he starts seeing stuff on the football field. So I feel like all players be trying to do too much. Nobody threw Christian McCaffrey under the bus when the motherfucker fumbled all season at the beginning of the season, 3 games straight. So why are we throwing this kid under the bus for a rookie trying to make a play? Just help me understand that or be consistent.
Because it's a what have you done for me lately?
Right.
I get it.
We know CMC is a perennial Pro Bowler. He's the best running back we have on his team. He's so explosive. He's multifaceted.
Yeah, but he kept getting opportunities, bro.
The kid has 20 touchdowns on the season.
He didn't have 20 touchdowns at the time he fumbled, though.
No, I get it. But again, it's what have you done for me lately? And everything that he's done to that point shows that, all right, if he fumbles once, the probability of him scoring more touchdowns than fumbling is high, right? We know Christian McCaffrey is going to get in the end zone again. He's going to score more times than he's fumbled.
They play different positions, right? So, like, scoring on a punt or special teams is 10 times harder.
I get it. So I'm just saying that, like, that's why there's a difference in the thought process. Ronnie Bell hasn't taken one to the crib yet. So, like, fans don't have anything to say, oh, we know he's going to break this for, he's averaging 27 yards on punt returns and he took 2 to the crib. So, like, we can give him one because we know if he gets another opportunity, he's going to break it for 30, 35 or take it all the way to the crib. Like, he hasn't done much positive. So that's part of. There's
no motherfucker in the 49er history other than Ted Ginn Jr. that has done anything on special teams. We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. We've been trying to. That's why we drafted.
So you got to.
We didn't even use him in that role.
My point is,
what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I get where you coming from the fan standpoint. But at the end of the day, like, he got to get the opportunity. Like, and if the coach don't take him out, shut up.
Then I'm gonna also throw this. I'm gonna throw this at you. We are suffering from. I'm gonna just say it. Don't kill me in the comments. I'm gonna just say it. I know y'all gonna be mad when I say it, but I just gotta say it. Kyle Williams.
It's that number, right? So, like, I think a lot of people.
I think they need to just burn that damn number.
It's like a lot of people have that PTSD.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just switch numbers. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. That was
what was that, 2011?
Oh my God, that was my birthday, man. I remember on my birthday.
Literally stopped us from going to the Super Bowl.
Twice though. So he did it twice.
Right.
Twice in one game. So I think that's also a part of, like,
it could be, and I'm not
fan base that has a rich history. But we also don't let shit go.
We don't. and we don't. And I'm not mad at the fan base, but it wasn't a fumble at the end of the day, even if it looked like it was. So I'm trying to figure out like why everybody upset. He'll get another opportunity, and then if he do something, then everybody gonna be on his again. So like me personally, I just want him to play wide receiver. I just feel like he could be a dangerous wide receiver at this point.
That's what I want him to do.
But you don't have nobody back there.
Now,
I know.
just to play devil's advocate,
I'm not putting Debo back there. And
bad enough that Debo's on kickoff,
right.
but
right.
just playing devil's advocate because I know they want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
If Ronnie Bell does fumble in the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
what's your response going to be then?
I mean, if he fumbles in the playoffs,
And it's a legitimate fumble.
Oh goodness.
I don't know.
Swings momentum, gives the other team 7 points.
I'm gonna be upset if that's what you asking.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, he a rookie. Nah, I'm gonna be upset. Shit, I'm mad I was mad when Jake Moody missed the kick. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want people to think, he sticking up for the Michigan guy, because that's what everybody gonna say. It don't matter who you are, you red and gold. You can't miss your opportunity. The point is take advantage of the opportunity that you're given.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Kyle Shanahan pulls his opportunities away, then he messed up. And I'm cool with it. I ain't going to advocate for him to return punts. That's up to the coach. But at the end of the day in this game, that didn't happen. Because how many times have he caught those punts and they were bad and get cracked on him, and everybody's like, wow, like he's a tough kid.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to that?
Yeah.
So the tough kid tried to make a play, and y'all ain't like the results of it, and so now we turn on him? We weird, man. We weird.
So on social media, what I saw was basically piled on from, what was it, the last game when he tripped, whenever he got tripped or whatever, and people were blaming that on him.
The penalty.
He didn't get tripped. He fucking slipped.
Where he lost his footing.
He lost his
Right.
footing.
Yeah.
And the guy
whatever
fell over
happened.
him,
So-
and they called the penalty. Yeah.
So people were
Right,
still
because that was
blaming him
on
for that. So
that was
then-
on no, John Chapman is blaming him for that. Like, I'm gonna call it a buck. John, like, I get it. You saying he shouldn't have touched the dude. The dude went into him. Like, at the end of the day, he slipped on the ground and the dude went into him and got the penalty drawn. That's what happened. It was an acting play. But he shouldn't have even been in that position. And if he wasn't even in that position, which he didn't know because he thought it was a punt, it was hard for him to get his footing to kind of like turn back around to block. And that's kind of like what it was, because Mitch Wisnowski took off and ran.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know Mitch was going to take off and run. So that's kind of what happened. So I get people still mad at him for that, but
So it's like it just piled on with this right here with the with
I mean,
everything. But
he
it
caught the
wasn't
ball.
ruled, but the way it was ruled, was the way it was ruled.
I mean,
regardless of
if
what it
George
looked
Kittle
like.
would have fumbled and they didn't rule that an incomplete pass, would we been on him?
No, because it's George.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna be
We're
look,
gonna keep it a buck. No,
because-
nobody would have said anything because it's George.
let's just be consistent. I don't like the mistakes, but mistakes are gonna happen at any given moment from any given person.
Right.
So like if it was a fumble, I'm gonna be like, yo, he got to figure that out or take him out. We man up, like that's me. But he didn't fumble, and Kyle didn't take him out, and then he had an opportunity on a bad throw from Brock. To me, it was kind of high into the outside. But if he could have got them toes down, it would have been a spectacular catch, and we wouldn't even be talking about that play.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird. We're weird. We weird.
I just think that they just need to burn the 10 jersey and give him another jersey. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think
I
they're
think
gonna burn.
I think that
Burn
number
anything,
10
but-
might be cursed.
It could be. Look, people are superstitious, man. People are very superstitious. So it is what it is. But at the end of the day, that was the only hiccup on special teams that technically wasn't a hiccup, because it wasn't ruled a hiccup. He was smart enough to get that forearm. You got to give him some credit. And the only reason why the ball came out is because I guarantee you when this pressure point hit that ground, that ball said out, that hand said ouch, and that ball, it came out. But he was smart enough to get it down. And I know it's not that serious, but people making it serious. I wasn't even thinking about it. People make it serious. People are talking about this kid as if he did something detrimental to the team that was up by 30 points. Let's talk about the defense for giving up 29 points.
Listen, it's frustrating, because I think it gives other teams a glimmer of hope while they're looking at us like, wow, this is the 49ers. They could score at any moment. If they can get them in their heads to where we are missing tackles and we aren't playing as well as we should, and we're giving up yards on the ground, I think that gives teams confidence that, hey, okay,
I agree,
we can find ways to score. While this defense has been really, really good, they haven't been as stifling or stingy as past defenses. This defense is susceptible when we're not playing fundamentally sound football. And you could say, it's a division opponent. They know us a little bit better. The Cardinals are not a good football team. And I think defensively, because they're so bad on that side of the ball, that's why we were able to put up 45, which is the most points we put up this season. Yeah. So that was part of the reason why I felt confident, because no matter what Arizona's going to do on offense,
we could have did
their
it.
defense is not anywhere close to being a formidable defense that's able to stop us. Right. We were able to move the ball successfully on Dallas and Philly. You think I'm scared of Arizona? No way. So, there is silver lining in it. Like you said, we got 2 interceptions. The defense is always finding a way.
They forced 5 fumbles, bro. They just couldn't recover them.
They just couldn't get them. So, we're finding a way to force turnovers and give the ball back to our explosive offense to allow them to go to work and do what they do. We did see it again. We saw it against Dallas, held them to 10 points. Saw it against Philly, held them to 19 points. We can do it. We just need to be more fundamentally sound than we were today. Because if we're not, we can give up 30. And then that means we have to score 45. And we don't want shootouts. Shootouts is how players get injured. Shootouts are how things that we don't want shootouts. For the collective sake of the faithful blood pressure, we don't want shootouts. We understand that they can happen, but this defense is 100% better than they played yesterday. And I feel like they'll get back on track. And if we can, do what we need to do, make sure we get that number 1 seed and get that first round bye, that's going to help tremendously, because that gives us an extra week to not only prepare for who we're going to play, but to get guys healthy, get them the necessary rest that they need for us to go on this run. So,
and there it is, y'all. We got the next game coming up. 49ers, man, 5-point favorites in this game at home. 5-point favorites as of right now. 5-point favorites. They got the man, we know the Ravens are dangerous, right? But why they look suspect right now?
Because they don't have Mark Andrews.
Andrews.
I think
that's the key. That's his saving grace.
They look suspect because they don't have Mark Andrews.
I'm glad you brought that up, because the number one person, I know it's Lamar Jackson, right? But you gotta find a way to limit Isaiah Likely. I feel like he'll be a tight end that will go bananas. I'm tired. He's the black Trey McBride. That's him. That's
I want to know, when did Arizona trade for Travis Kelce?
It's crazy.
Because Trey McBride he looked like Travis. I'm like, wait.
He is going to be a problem.
Said that about the tight end though.
He's going to be a problem in the NFL. I'm loving the surge of the tight ends. I'm loving what Sam Laporte is going to be in Detroit.
Yeah.
We know
Oh,
what TJ
yeah.
Hawkinson is in Minnesota. We know what George Kittle is. You kind of see Kelsey kind of dwindling down. Listen, if Goddard can be healthy, he's a problem. I like the kid from Dallas, Ferguson. Like,
Yeah.
there's going to be
Yeah.
some tight ends years to come. And they got that tight end U. That's what happened. That's what's going on. That tight end U. I'm telling you.
And real talk, like they that tight end brotherhood. Like when they go to tight end U, I've heard Kittle and Kelsey talk about it. They have Jordan Reed come.
Yup.
I think Antonio Gates was there.
Oh, come
Tony
on.
Gonzalez shows
Oh,
up.
come on.
Like some
Legends.
of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game
It's not
are
fair.
coming to tight end U.
Gronk
and
was
giving
there.
These young guys game. Gronk there, giving out game, and then Kelsey, he
Kittle.
giving out game. How he runs routes, how he runs his stems, how he breaks stuff off. Kittle giving them how he runs his routes, but then also giving them blocking techniques. So we about to have a whole crop of tight ends
We
that
gonna
are
need
not only athletic, running 4.4s and 4.5s, and some of them running 4.3s, but they also can block as well.
And let's not forget about the one that's coming out in this draft, Brock Bowers from Georgia.
Keys.
Kate Stover from Ohio State.
Another beast.
Right, it's
I'm
literally-
just
There's like a lot of there's quite a few that are going to be in this draft. Dalton Schultz with
And
the
the on-
Texans.
Yep, when he's healthy. And the only reason why I brought up the tight ends is because the San Francisco 49ers give up. That's where the explosives come from.
God.
Like that, they might not score. I think they've only been 2 touchdowns on the season. Pratt Fryermuth and Kobe Parkinson are the only tight ends that scored on the Niners. But if you want explosive plays, it's this tight ends. They're getting
On the tight
explosives. And now you got to deal with Isaiah Likely. And then depending on Logan, the dude from Washington, Logan something, whatever his name is, if he's going to be a problem. And then
Oh,
you
Logan
end it-
Thomas.
Logan Thomas. And then you
Yeah.
got to end with Tyler Higbee and the
Yeah.
tight ends and Skowronek and all those guys over in LA. Look, the Niners got to figure that out. I feel like, back in the day, we had Jimmy Ward, we had Tart. Like, they handled tight ends. I'm sorry. They did. They handled the tight ends. They didn't give up explosives to tight ends. Damn, the Eagles scored already.
Touchdown.
Hurts got the TD. Ain't that something? Sick TD. So,
Blue game.
but no, seriously, like when I'm looking at this kid, and it was the kid from Atlanta. I forgot to mention his name. I think Jonty Smith
Kyle Pitts.
No, Pitts is different. He need to go somewhere else. The other kid, Smith, Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
Kid's a problem. Like there's some these tight ends. So the Niners just got to figure it out. And I think they'll be fine. So limit him. I don't think Mose and Peachy, you got to worry. I think they get back to taking care of the run game because that's where the Niners defense is able to play the way that we like them to play. Fast, aggressive, fly to the ball. When they're stopping that run, and which they were doing in this game, they just gave up too many explosives. That's what happened. It was explosives. So, guys, we got the Ravens up this week. We got tons of shows going on this week. Make sure you guys have your alerts set to all and make sure that they're on. We appreciate everybody for jumping in here. I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chat contributions. I think we got 2. One from Fernando. Let's get it up there. Boom, boom, boom. I like this one. Applause to Javon Kinlaw and Ambry Thomas. They've been playing well. I'm glad I'm wrong about them. John Feliciano has been good for the 49ers too. Yo, you ain't never lied. Kinlaw is looking really good. Just looks really healthy. And a lot of people don't know this, but last year, Ambry Thomas was struggling with injuries all season long. He never came into camp right. I'm wondering if he's got his health back, which is allowing him to play the physical type of football. He still has to work on his positioning because he got cooked by Trey McBride on one of them passes to the out of bounds. He didn't get cooked, but he was there, but he didn't have the right positioning to make a play on the ball. Okay. So, but that's a big tight end. You got your wide receiver covering. John Feliciano, I think he'll continue to start moving forward. I think he'll continue to start moving forward. And then Sean and the super chat contribution says, broadcast Jesus. That is true. Brock put him first. God honors those that honor him.
Amen.
MVP 2 times over league, then Super Bowl. You ain't never lied. And Mose, this is for you. Big Daddy says, Mose, you're hard to find on YouTube. Every time I type your name in, different people type in what Mose knows. Or Mose knows.
Or just I commented in the chat, but if he didn't see it, just type Mose knows, but then after the nose, just put a period. So if you do Mose knows with a period, it'll pop right up.
That's it. Do you hear? Do you have it? Do you have it? All right, guys. Look, we'll be back next Monday. We'll do the shoot. Should we do a preview show Monday? Or y'all just want to chill for Christmas? Because I'm probably gonna be mad.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna chill for Christmas.
Yeah, we'll just chill for Christmas. Kids. Yeah. So we'll do a show. Maybe we'll do a show on Tuesday to talk about the game. Or whatnot, because Monday's gonna be crazy. It's Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Those that celebrate the holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa to everybody out there as well. Yep. Listen, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let's go ahead and watch the Eagles find a way to lose. Come on, Seahawks. I think that's what we want to say. Until then, man, stay up faithful and keep it nitty gritty, baby. We out this Jones. Peace. Hey.
Breezy, gritty, this that 9
Mose knows. PG, fair to God. It's about that time, everybody turn your TVs on. The Mose knows, Peachy, Breezy, and fair to God. They keep it nitty gritty when they bring you 9 to talk. We 2 gorilla, silverback, silver.
You know it's busting the discussion cause we get it in. Every time, you know we grinding, I was 8 to 10. We always play to win. The faithful going hard. It's Wayne, Breezy, Peachy, Mose knows, and fear to God. Let's get it.
Nitty gritty, this the 9 talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the 9 talk. We outline players up in chalk. Nitty gritty, this the 9 talk. Don't like it, better take a walk. Nitty gritty, this the 9 talk. Nitty gritty, this the 9 talk.